Right, today then I'm going to go through the translations of this expansion for the rules and the cards, so you know how to play and what everything does. I know I've done this with the help of people who can actually speak Japanese, and I've got a little reference here with the help of my friend, not as good AI. And so we just start off with it's the Pocket Monsters expansion pack. Team Rocket finally appears in the board game, which interestingly, from what I understand, would be 3,600 yen. Yeah, I got it for 980. Sounds like a little bit of a bargain. And so we can see from the back that the Pokemon board game has evolved with 5 different points of upgrade, including telling me here from the AI that Team Rocket also appear the intense and exciting board game. The final battle is even more. And just around here, it looks like they're trying to charge us €4 per chip we want to use for the game. So these are just the 5 points of what the expansion adds to the game. So we've got new Pokemon chips, we've got new event cards, we've got Team Rocket, you've got leveling up your Pokemon, and the final battle's now changed. And it's got the components list here. So you've got 16 new Pokemon chips in 4 colours, you've got 16 new event cards, 24 Rocket event cards, you've got 5 of your Elite 4 members, and you've got 30 Pokemon, 6 for each. Interestingly, in the translation it seems to call them sheets, even though not a sheet. So you've got 1 Rocket Mover top, 1 Rocket Mover bottom, and you've got 40 of these level up tokens. Finally, you see the copyright says ST, and this just translates to Tokyo. So, you know, that must be a common thing I didn't know about. Moving on into the box then. So we don't need to go through the plastic bits, that's quite obvious what it is, and there's no translating. And I'm not going through the little survey either. First up, starting with the rulebook then, and it gets more amusing mainly just to read these from there. So this is our Bow Game Pack. Hotter, more fun, your Pokemon board game has been upgraded. And then contents list the game, same as the back of the box. So moving on, here we've just got warnings, the same warnings at the back of the box. Funny enough, the translation here though says, do not cover your head or face with a plastic bag, it leaves it at risk of becoming empty. Which you all know just means dangerous suffocation. So yeah, so you get a new Pokemon chip joins the group. Raise your Pokemon and level them up. You can add event cards for just 3 yen. Team Rocket has arrived in the board game. And the final battle is even more intense and exciting. So to start with, upgrade point 1. New Pokemon. The fun of collecting is even more. And this is obviously just talking about all the new Pokemon chips. Yeah, so it's just letting you know, obviously, all the new Pokemon have been added that are relevant to the anime now. Such as Meows, apparently. Here just lets you know everything's exactly the same. So when you want to catch your Pokemon, you've just got to land on them on the board and roll the dice number to capture them. And at the bottom, some of the new Pokemon have event cards that are only specific to them. As it turns out, it's just the 2 Pikachus. So it's slightly more of a deal made here than it is in reality. Okay, point 2 now. Level up your Pokemon. Win battles to become stronger. You want to get stronger by fighting. Win more battles to become a top-notch Pokemon trainer. And this just basically goes through, so now whenever you win a battle, as well as taking the 2 items from the rival trainer like you normally would, you also get to put a +1 clip on the Pokemon who's won the battle. There you go, so that Cedar won a fight, so he's now got the +1 clip attached, so he's now got a power of 6. I can't see any extra information about here for any limits, so there's no limit to how many power-up chips you can, or how many power-up clips you can have on a Pokemon, it seems. Although, I think you get to a certain point where there's no point having more because you only need to defeat the Elite Four to win. And I'm assuming because there's only 40 clips, that means you can only get 40 level ups, and then I guess you just can't level up your Pokemon anymore. So use them wisely, maybe. I don't know. And then just down here, it's letting you know that more battle event cards have been added, which apparently says, name a player, I don't have enough chips, I can't battle. More on that card later anyway. And the Sandshrews just going getting stronger and stronger. So point 3, new event cards have been added. A new event that will make you cry and laugh. So with the addition of event cards, new events that have never existed before will occur. The board game Pokemon world will become even more heated. So as well as the 6 battle cards that we've added before, we've got 5 more events that have been added, a variety of numbers. And if you want a detailed explanation of the events, you need to go to page 6, Christmas event, apparently. But yeah, the outcome of victory becomes increasingly unknown due to these events. And I'll read you some of the interesting description that it gives you in the rulebook, which is slightly off with what they actually do. A player with a strong slap. Choose one in battle wearing a bell clip. Power Duck, 2/1 players. Install the card, Pokemon Leader, one of the chips in the rocket. So many interesting events. So now we move on to point 4. Appears in board games, Rocket diagrams hold the key to victory. Which actually says Team Rocket holds the key to victory in the board game. And you'll see all this is talking about new events have been added when Team Rocket is possessing your character. Possessing it's kind of how it translates, but it's kind of like attached to or stuck with or something like that. But it just seems to translate as possessing. But you know the general meaning behind it. Or cling to might be an appropriate word as well. So if you're possessed by Team Rocket, you have to draw a Team Rocket card instead of a Team Rocket event card instead of a normal event card. And this is confusing if you don't get the right translation, because it says to get freed from them, if they're holding you back, you must use the Kasumi card. Let's draw we defeated Team Rocket, and after being released, leave them attached to Yambuki City, who will be possessed next. And this is actually a combination of some different cards. So when we get to the cards bit, we'll go through that more. But you need the event cards to get with the Team Rocket, or, as it tells you down here, passing other players. So just because you're possessed by Team Rocket doesn't mean it's bad. You can even transfer it to other players. So yeah, some of the Team Rocket events are bad, some are good. And this just says, if you're going to pass some players, you get to the first player you pass, you'll put Team Rocket onto them. But not if you're using the Fly event card. By Fly event card, I meant Fly item card. Which you don't... The way you just move them instead of rolling the dice is just clarifying it, I guess. So if you pass or land on a player square, give them Team Rocket, but then it does say at the bottom, you do have to move back 6 spaces once you give Team Rocket. So I guess it stops you passing on to another player and then getting passed straight back on. And then step 5, in the final stage, there will be even more intense. So it says here, in the final battle, you can no longer use plus powers. So obviously, I think they have plus power cards, but it's just translated to attack bonus for the English version. But yeah, so you can't use any attack bonus cards when you get there, which is one change they've made. The other major change is actually now it's a 3-on-3 battle. A heated 3v3 final battle it's got here. Anyway, it works a lot the same as the original final battle. It says there, just don't use the cards for the final battle that came with the original game. They had obviously the attack bonus and you'd roll the dice. So the dice determine the attack bonus. Here you've just got the general. Players can't use plus powers or attack bonus, and the Elite Four won't get an attack bonus. So you choose one player to be the rival role. I'm assuming you'd still roll off for it like you originally do. They have to draw a character who you're going to use their Pokemon. So Elite Four or the rival. Then they're going to draw 3 of the rival's Pokemon and select them in the order they want to do it and place them face down. And the player fighting will also choose 3 of their chips to play and place them face down, and then you'll line them up, and then you battle them one by one. It doesn't really explain here very well how to do it, but I think it looks to just be 1v1, and the loser gets knocked out and the next Pokemon steps up. And so you keep going to either the rival's lost all 3 of his Pokemon or you lose all 3 of yours. So obviously if you defeat all 3, you're the winner. Congrats. If you lose all 3, then like before, you leave, go back to Cinnabar Island, all your Pokemon are face down, knocked out. If you've got more than 20 power on your active Pokemon, you can go back in again. Otherwise, you obviously have to go revive them or so on. Get rest and get ready for the challenge again. And then here, back page, we've got Meowth's Secret Technique Winning Course. Strong Positive Power. And there's actually just Meowth's Secret Technique, how to use plus power. So because you can't use plus power for the final battle, what you should do is use it in all the regular battles to get extra plus clips to make your Pokemon stronger so they're better prepared for the final fight. The key is to take on the final battle with your strongest Pokemon. Challenge me, yeah. That's not what it says. That's just somehow it's translated it. Yeah, that's all the rules. So now you know how to do it. So let's just go through all the cards and components just to see what they added to the game. First thing I want to see is the AI. I can't decide what it wants to call them. Is it calling them Pocket Monsters? Pocket Mondi? Cut Monster? Pocket Monkey? Who knows? Anyway, on with the chips. So first up here, we have Yadon Fishing with the Zutsuki attack, which is actually Fishing Slowpoke, and that's Headbutt attack. We get our Stupid Meowth, who knows Scratch. We get our Tangled Arbo, who knows Bite. We get Pitchy Pitchy Magikarp, who's got Bounce. Pitchy Pitchy is the term, so it's energetic. It can be lively or active, but energetic seems to fit it mostly right. The green ones now, we have Pippi Dancing with the Haku attack. Obviously it's Dancing Clefairy, and the attack is Slap. Kodak with a head. with Nariki attack. So this is a headache Psyduck. The attack, it's either Psychic Power or Psychosis. Psychic Power seems to work better for the translation, like going with the anime. And our 2 Pikachus. Naminori Pikachu with Naminori attack. Pikachu flying in the sky with Fly in the Sky attack. Obviously, it's Surfing Pikachu with Surf and Flying Pikachu with Fly. It just translates very similar. Moving on to the blue chips. First up, Hard Transcell with Harden. Obviously, Metapod. We have Nakijakuru Parched with Scream. It's quite... I don't know why it's parched. It's Crybaby Cubone with Scream. Apparently he's parched. He's thirsty. Here we have Cool Porygon with Texture. Self-explanatory. And then now we get a Delicious Sandwich with the Speedster attack. It's quite interesting. It's because Sandshrew is called Sando, and Sando is actually a term they use for sandwich in Japan. So this is Intense Training Sandshrew, is what he's called. Now we get here, we've got our Anchor Gyarados with Dragon Anchor attack, which seems odd for the auto-translate, but it's actually Raging. So we've got Raging Gyarados with Dragon Rage attack. Obviously that makes more sense rather than Dragon Anchor. But here we have our Singing Rugella, or Singing Jynx with the Sing attack. The AI is telling me it's Kishimbo Snorlax with Stimmy Tackle, which would be a Rigorous Eater Snorlax. It's actually Hungry Snorlax. And it's Sutemi Tackle, which is kind of like a judo tackle sort of throw. And finally, just Butterfree with Psychic Attack. But obviously that seems odd because it's the anime. It doesn't pick it up, it's Loved Up Butterfree. Moving on from these are regular event cards. The first 2 events are self-explanatory. Flying Pikachu and Surfing Pikachu are powered up. So when these events come up, whoever owns these Pikachus can put 1 level clip on them. Next we've got all the Pokemon Breeder events that have been added. Now, 3 of them feature Brock, whereas the other 2 feature... I'm pretty sure that's Flint from the anime, who's Brock's dad. But I'm really struggling with the translation. I think it seems to be Mr. Pokemon Breeder. All I know is that each of Brock's ones have got pink, blue and red in the title. So you can only use that event on that particular colour of Pokemon. Whereas this Pokemon Breeder one, you can use those events on any of your Pokemon. And all of them do the same. You just add 2 +1 level clips to one of your Pokemon chips. So in case they're the wrong colours anyway. So we've got pink here. We've got green here. And we've got the breeder for blue here. And in here we have all the extra battle cards, which, as you can see, are just identical to the original battle cards that we had, which therefore will be identical to the English Let's Fight attack cards. So instead of battle, they're called attack. But fight a trainer battle of any other player. Remember, knocked out Pokemon cannot fight. And then the final lot of all the events is just the same. It's 4 of these Team Rocket event cards. When this happens, you just attach the Team Rocket to your Satoshi Goma, which is just your player mover. And while it's attached, you draw Team Rocket event cards to the normal event cards. And see, these all translated to attached, whereas the rulebook's possessed. Attached seems like the more correct word. Finally, here we have a little mover. And for some reason, upside down R is R, normal R is R, but an R on its side, that seems to mean crown. Don't know. Seems odd. Don't know why. It's just somehow the AI's picked that up as crown. So now we moved on to the Team Rocket events. And these are the ones that get slightly confusing, especially with the AI not helping much. So first up, we've got 2 of the events here. We defeated Team Rocket. And when you play one of these, it actually allows you to place Team Rocket onto another player's mover. And then we get 3 events here that are 1 Pokemon runs away. So you've got to put one of your chips back into the chip pile and shred it well. I mean, okay. It must be a legacy game now for shredding chips. Goodbye, Seal. Same as now, this Team Rocket a card, lost something, choose 2 of your item cards and throw them away. Okay, goodbye. Now the Team Rocket events, fall over the slope, you trip over a rock, all it is just move back 5 spaces. And then 2 events here, I was hypnotised by a sleeper, which is Hypno obviously. Choose 2 of your chips and turn them over, incapable of battle, just as a little reminder. So sleeping Pokemon is basically the same as knocked out Pokemon. And now, 2 events, you get surrounded by a horde of Gyarados. The Dragon Anchor blows you away. Shh. And they just move you back to Pallet Town. We have here Meowth Blue Ride and Ride a Bicycle. And if you look at the text is exactly the same on the cards. They both let you move double the amount of the dice roll. Although, if you're in the Meowth Balloon, you have to be careful of the Psycho Meowth. And the Team Rocket here, meet a heron in a trade. He's actually get scammed in a trade, and you have to give one of your chips to every other player. And then finally, we get a couple of good events. So we start off with the Kasumi card, which obviously is Misty. If you get the Misty card, you get to unlock Team Rocket from your mover and leave them at Saffron City. And you can also heal up to 2 incapacitated Pokemon, so knocked out or asleep or whatever. And then finally, the last ones are get an item card. Team Rocket receives an item card. I stole it. You can receive 2 item cards from the person next in turn. Basically, you just get to take 2 items from the person who's next. Now finally, we move on to the Elite Four and your rival, or the 4 Heavenly Kings as they're more commonly known, it seems. We have Kana, Shiva, or Siba, Kikuko, and Nawatu, or Wataru. And rival Sigur, who is actually Shigeru, which is Gary. And let's move on to their Pokemon. It can't decide between attack power and offensive power, but it's basically the same thing. And the card is all a bit cleaner now because there's no rolling the dice for the extra bonus. They just have their own attack power and the dice roll. So they'll be slightly easier in combat. Obviously, you don't get your plus powers or attack powers either. But for starters, like Lorelei's got 8, 9, 10, 11. You know, if you can get a whole starting Pokemon evolution line, they can have 13. You know, you get a breeder or level them up a bit, they could have up to 14, 15. So it might not be as difficult as it used to be. I remember in the original game, you used to get rolls of about 20 or so. Anyway, you might see it really struggles with slashes in the name. But Lorelei now has, so they've got 6 Pokemon. Lorelei's now got a second stronger Cloyster that she's added to her team. We move on to Bruno, who's got a second Hitmonchan from by the ocean. Shrimp Walla, the seafood puncher. When we go to Agatha, she's probably the most well translated, and she just has a second Arbok on her team. And finally on to Lance, who's added a second Aerodactyl to his team. Probably the stronger one, I guess. And finally we get to rival Shigeru Okaru, or Sigur, or Gary Oak, who now has all 3 of the starters and their fully evolved forms, rather than messing around with the 3 different elements, although he's still got his staple powerful attackers. But otherwise, yeah, that's the translation of everything included in the box. So you know all the rules, how to play, what all the new stuff does. Most of it seems interesting, although the new Elite Four is probably the most thing I'd take away, and the leveling up your Pokemon's quite good. So I can't wait to try out a new game using the expansion rules just to see how it works. Which will probably be one of the videos, but if you follow the links there, there'll be links to follow the game, links to follow the series. Otherwise, I'm off to go get a seafood sandwich, I think. Thanks for watching. Hope to catch you soon.
Rocket blast!